Soul Garden.
Why can't you find love? How long have you really been single? Really? Having trouble finding that special soulmate? I can solve this one. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Your love trouble? Over. All that and more at secretsofbirthdays.com. Hello everyone and welcome back to Astro 101. Christopher Witecki here, your friendly neighborhood astrologer. And we are learning the planets. This is episode 11 now. We're going to wrap up with the last two planets here in the solar system. I won't review the other planets because I want to get deep on these two, but I will point out our nice beautiful graphic here in our solar system. And we'll be working on today Neptune and Pluto. We'll talk about Pluto. Notice there's a little circle there next to Pluto. But we're going to start first with Neptune. Neptune is an awesome planet. It's one of my favorite planets actually in the solar system. If you've probably seen pictures of it, it's this brilliant, beautiful blue. It is the ruling planet, or the home planet, I like to say, of Pisces. And remember from earlier episodes, Pisces is the vibration that connects God, universe, down to Earth. It is kind of our intuitive psychic vibration. And Neptune gets a lot of rap, really regarding drug addiction and going too far, because Neptune is when we surrender. Now we're supposed to be surrendering to our higher self. It is our escape from the earth, right? Because it is the bridge from earth to God universe. And so sometimes when you go too far to Neptune vibration, you go too far in the wrong way. In an attempt to escape the human condition, it can be drug addiction, it can be alcohol addiction. These are some of the negatives you see. It also could be you going too far. For instance, you being too far in your imagination and having unrealistic expectations. You're not grounded. So really the whole point of Neptune and learning about Neptune is how to be balanced in having your feet on the ground, like a Pisces, and being connected to God universe at the same time. So if you're doing drugs, you're not very connected, right? So wherever Neptune is in your chart, it really tells us where it is that we connect to God universe. In fact, the Neptune glyph is this little guy. And I think this is so telling. To me, this looks like an antenna. It looks like an antenna pointing right up to God universe, planted here on the earth. I think it's a perfect glyph for the Neptune vibration. So look on your chart and see where this glyph is. It will tell you from what area of your life are you intuitive. Do you receive intuitive information? And what kind of intuitive information you tend to get. Now Neptune is a very slow moving planet. All right, so whole generations are in a particular sign, just like Pluto, whole generations, because of its orbit around the sun. So for instance, I was born with Neptune in Sagittarius. That means that I as a soul, and my whole generation as souls, we all naturally intuit from God universe the new belief structure, the new collective consciousness that's coming down to the earth. And that's what our job is to intuit that, right? There'll be Neptune in other signs as well, but it doesn't go too far back, obviously, because of where we're going. But Neptune in Scorpio would be you intuit where the boundaries must be on the planet. Now let's say Neptune is in your third house. Well, Neptune in the third house means that you're a very intuitive communicator. So you're a person that's literally channeling through your mouth. When I see people who do automatic handwriting and that sort of thing, Neptune in the third. When I see people who can just get on a soapbox and talk about any topic, Neptune in the third, they are channeling Neptune, their higher self, down to earth, which is their mouth or their writing convention. Let's say you have Neptune in the fifth. Wow, that's really cool. What you're channeling in that case is your higher self and your personal dreams are coming down. So you're literally having no problem knowing who you want to be. In fact, I have Neptune in the fifth, and I was one of those persons that at 17, I knew exactly what I wanted to be. I knew exactly what my spiritual mission was. I was in tune with my higher self because Neptune was channeling that part of me. And for those of you who have Neptune in some psychic houses, that makes you extra psychic. So Neptune in the 12th house would make you incredibly psychic. It's home. The 12th house is the house of Pisces. Or Neptune in the 8th house is very, very psychic as well, I find. Or also Neptune in a water sign would be very psychic too. So in the same token, Neptune is where you could be unrealistic or go too far if you're not grounded when you're connecting to God universe. So I have very grandiose plans for Soul Garden with Neptune in the fifth, and I have to sometimes be realistic and realize, okay, we can just do this. Or you could go too far with Neptune in the eighth. That can be dangerous. You could be on a life or death situation. So Neptune is where we connect to God universe. Then I want to talk about Pluto. Let's bring up our thing again. Pluto is the end of the line. And notice how God universe has set this up. Here's the sun, where we are born, and here's the end, where we die. straight to end. Pretty simple, isn't it? And I find that to be one of the most compelling points of how the solar system is set up. I mean, the compelling examples of why astrology works so well. Notice I have this other circle here next to Pluto. I brought that up earlier. This is Pluto's moon. Okay, I'm not sure actually how it's pronounced. I think it's Charon, C-H-A-R-O-N. And its moon is almost 70% of the size of the planet Pluto, which is kind of crazy. Now Pluto, its glyph in your chart is this. Because we invented the Pluto glyph after we found the planet in this last century, we just made it cool with a P and a line. Pretty smart. The reason I bring up the whole Pluto moon thing is because I think this really describes the duality of the Scorpio nature. Pluto rules death, okay? It is actually the boundary of life and death. It is the last line. So wherever Pluto is in your chart, it shows us where you're going to die and be reborn in this lifetime. And it's simply the end of the life. It's simply the end of the line. God universe is not supporting this any longer, or a certain aspect of this, and a certain aspect of this will be reborn. So there'll be a point where Pluto probably conjuncts Mars way in the future, where we will not be supporting violence anymore. Society just won't support violence. It won't be cool, and that will be the end of the line, where violence is simply not tolerated. That's a big dream right now, but that's an example of how Pluto just stops sponsoring certain behavior. Now I bring up the duality of Scorpio because that big Pluto and its big moon are the duality. It is the black and white. Imagine if our moon was 60 to 75% of the Earth's mass. That would mean at night, the full moon would be the entire sky, right? That's huge. And the tides would probably pull the Pacific Ocean over to the Atlantic Ocean. It would be so gigantic. Well, that gravity between these two polarities, that's the Scorpio vibration, life and death. And I look at actually the cold planet of Pluto as the intellectual side of Scorpio and the big moon of Pluto as the emotional side of Pluto. That's why Scorpios are black and white with you. The space between Pluto and the moon is the boundary, right? You're either on the planet Pluto or on the moon. And Scorpios are always kind of using both of the bifocal look at these two realities, the emotional and the intellectual. And that's how Scorpios will size you up. So look for Pluto in your chart. In your lifetime, that is where you will die and be reborn. So Pluto's in my third, so when it comes to me as a messenger, I've had to reinvent myself as a messenger, really come up with language to explain this message, and I'm constantly on a rebirth path. Where Pluto is transiting today is what part of you since then is dying and being reborn. Remember, we are progressed souls. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So Pluto is death and rebirth, and Neptune is connection to God universe. Now you may think we're done with the planets, but we're not. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the North Node and the South Node, and then we're going to get into the houses. There's a lot more to learn, folks, with Astro 101. Please remember, post your questions, get those charts ready. I do want to see them and look at them on camera soon. I just want to get the basics done, and I'll see you next time with Astro 101. Having trouble finding that special soulmate? Oh, I know. Are you ready to find love? So what do you think your ideal mate is? This I can solve for you. Check out Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report at secretsofbirthdays.com.